Hey ratbags, today in Enshrouded I'm going to take you through how to get the Alchemist and unlock potions, spells and get yourself the magic robe armor set. Particularly if you are going down the mage route, you definitely want to get this early. Now it's signposted well, it will appear pretty much at the same time as the Hunter location, and I do recommend going to the Hunter so you can get that extra upgrade for your rucksacks. However, if you really want to get the most out of being a mage, you may want to head to this guy as soon as you've got your blacksmith and set up your base camp and got a little bit ready. So I'm going to walk you through every aspect on how to get to him and some of the loot and places that you might want to explore along the way. First up is using your grapple to get up the scaffolding that you'll find on the left hand side of the ruins, pretty much in the starting area. I was doing this with my good pal Commando and we sailed through it. Up here there will be a house with some bandits around that you'll be able to go ahead and pretty much demolish if you shoot at the right barrels. There will be a few bandit points you'll have to come across, so you can either try out running them or take them out to get some extra loot along the way. Do make sure you blow up the mound where you see the two barrels on, as there'll be a chest underneath. So follow the path up and you'll come across another scavenger camp pretty close by, and these have got a lot of enemies in it that are pretty tough. There'll also be another area that you can break through in the walls of the cliff, revealing more loot. So do make sure you stop off to get this on the way. So once you're ready, keep following the path outside and the left hand side hug so that you've always got the cliff face to your left. There are a couple different pathways you can go, but we'll get to that in a second. You will have to deal with some wolves, and eventually once you do get to where the Alchemist is, some of the enemies are going to be level 3, so you do want to make sure you're at least close to that level, or just make sure you're really good at dodging and obviously parrying. This place was available in a demo, but when you got there, you wasn't able to actually get anything from the NPC that was there, and there was just a nice little greeting saying, hey, check out the full game to see what will be here next time. There is a shroud cave there, but we're not interested in that today. Just keep following the path. It is a bit of a trek. You'll come to this slight crossroads. Again, keep to the left hand side. The right hand side does generally go that way as well, or it will eventually, but I find the left hand side was just a better way in terms of getting lots of loot. Here it is on the map just to show you. We're going to go and nip over to this flame sanctuary, and then obviously it's all the way in the top left here. If you unlock the spire tower, you can obviously try and glide all that way, but yeah, this is the way that we went. So keep into the left hand path, you'll go underneath this rock outcrop and over to the flame sanctuary. It's important because you can get the flame core, meaning that you can set up another base, and it's obviously another temporary respawn. Never dismiss any lore notes you find. Also, a lot of them will lead to other locations marked on the map, giving you a hint of what may be loot or stories that you can also gain some XP for completing. So if you kept to the left hand side, you'll notice you're a bit more raised. You can see the deserted town or farm ship way in the distance, and then there's a smaller house here. I've actually taken this over previously in the demo, and right now we ended up making it a place to stay for the night or two. It is quite dangerous. There are some critters or spiders around, and some of the walls can be quite challenging. On the plus side, it is a relatively easy house to do up, put a few doors on, and you'll be able to get plenty of access to corn. But yeah, I still think it's a viable place to have maybe a second base for now, but there's still probably not as much going on in this area of the world compared to others. There is a respawn point close by, so make sure you go and activate that. And yeah, if you go and explore the house inside Peaceful Wakers, you will find 2 chests eventually. One that you might have to unlock with a lockpick, and another one all the way up in top in the attic. The spiders seem to be coming out a crack inside the earth, which has obviously got some of the enshroudment in it. You do maybe want to check that out, but again, we're pretty focused on just getting to the Alchemist. So staying fairly close to the large cliffs to the left now, making sure you go through the countryside. You will end up hitting this pathway again, and it just comes from a fast point. You'll come across one of these stones. This is a really good idea to activate these always, as they will reveal a bunch of new locations. These are the ancient obelisks. Get a decent amount of XP also for activating one or finding one. Not so good, maybe the boots. I felt like I had much better armor already. And yeah, again, same thing. Keep the cliffs to the left hand side and you'll come to an overreach once more. Go ahead and glide downwards, and again keep the cliffs to the left. You will come across another scavenger area, and this will give you some actually proper loot, as well as you'll come across the path, which I'm pretty sure does eventually connect all the way to that other path that we never took. The hole in here, you will find some scavengers obviously coming out, and there's a few traps, so be careful when you go in. I'm sure you'll be fine luring some of the enemies out. Inside you will find another stash and hopefully a guaranteed chance of getting a decent legendary weapon. Let me know what weapon you got here when you've completed it. Can you guess what I'm going to say now? Keep the cliffs to the left hand side, keep going along the pathways in the countryside, and you've arrived finally at the ancient vault with the alchemist. There will be some heavy artillery guys here and there's enemies inside. Look out for that sludge, it actually gives you a slow moving debuff. The artillery guys can obviously shoot and do quite a lot of damage if they catch you with all 3 mortar shells. You will have a nice convenient respawn point, so don't panic, and then obviously you'll have to deal with some more of the scavengers. A good idea to make sure this is a ranged build you bring, as you can often set fire to obviously a lot of the barrels or just keep a lot of the enemies at distance. They will have a bit more in them in terms of attacks compared to some of the creatures you might come across so far if you've been taking it slowly. Fair amount of decent little bits of loot and everything around, so do make sure you go and explore each nook and hollow from these small towers and some of the gangways from the scavengers. And again, just making sure I'm always getting you an idea where we've come and where we've gone to. You can see how far we've reached. One more guy to take out in this tower just before the entrance to the vault. Inside the vault there is a downstairs and upstairs area that you want to go. So if you go around the right hand side, you will obviously come across more of the bandits or scavengers. The left hand side's actually got a secret little door. They're relatively easy to spot once you find the first 1 or 2, so press the button and get yourself some extra loot from the chest. So you head upstairs first, you'll get access to obviously the main vault room, take out a couple more of the scavengers, and this is where you'll find the alchemist. And there you go, we've now rescued the alchemist. You can open up the doorway up top and just go and explore, see if there's any other kind of loot, but it wasn't really, just a good viewpoint from down below. So that's the job done. Now all you've got to do is run all the way downstairs from the main entrance and you will find an area with a big lava pool and some spikes that you'll have to run across once you've got the chest that's at the end. So what can you craft now you've got Barry back at home? Well, lots of health potions, potions to increase the amount of time that you have in the shroud, and 3 varieties of spells. You've got the healing channel that'll help heal you. You need some of the Aurelian flowers for this, as well as bone meal and wood acid, which obviously you should know by now you craft with your furnace or your coal kiln. Traditional fireballs made out of tar and resin. Again, obviously resin you get from a lot from the golden trees, and occasional drops from others, and tar obviously again something you can make inside your actual kiln. And then you've got the ice spells, which obviously need the shroud fluid, so you're going to need a lot of that. You've also got grinding stones to help with production. This will actually help grind your bones into bone meal, as well as maybe other stuff later on. You'll be able to go ahead and craft obviously a spiritual cane as well, so a mage's weapon and the mage's armour. You can condense shroud spores and shroud liquid into shroud cores, and you can make glow dust as well as bug dust once you unlock the mortar. Now the mortar is an additional item that you have to collect for the alchemist, pretty much like the upgrade. It is far away and it does involve quite a bit, so I'm going to do that video separate. Effectively, you can either craft one or you go and find one which is all the way in the north, and then that gives you access to another mage set which is healing. Unlocking the healing class, it'll also unlock larger health potions as well as mana potions that you'll be able to craft and make, plus this flask of the fell which will give you more stamina. Until then, you'll see just the regular alchemist apprentice set, and obviously that's going to give you lots more magical resistance, but not as much physical resistance, but it will give you increases to your mana as well as your mana damage. And like all armor sets, always go ahead and craft the chest piece first, then the head, then the trousers, and then always feet and gloves last, as they have got the less damage buffs or defensive buffs. And then some more decorative items like books and more shelving and stuff. There you go folks, that's everything you need to know about the Alchemist NPC and what you can expect to be crafting. Hope that's been helpful. Go and check out the rest of my NPC guides and more incoming for Enshrouded. Until next time, ratbags, laters.